Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron, I hope you're having a great day in Jesus. We're looking at a Nelson Imperial Reference Bible. Now, we've been doing some Riverside World Bibles from this time era, Zondervan maybe, Nelson Imperial, especially King James Bibles, and this was just a very great selling time and great quality time for King James Bibles. And so this is like not their best box. This red color box, the iconic, I'm looking at it down here, I won't reach and grab it, the Crown Imperial Reference Bible, the gold and tote box. This was much better. Now this is a fascinating one because it's in forest green. Now, pretty much for years, let's say decades, Bibles came in black. And then if you really wanted to get out in left field, you got burgundy. And so I remember during this time period, I used to sell Bibles at Berean Christian Store, for those of you that don't know my background in that, they began to come out and try various colors. Especially Holman was on the cutting edge of that. I remember when Holman came out with a tote Bible and then a dusty rose Bible. For years, we could not keep the dusty rose Bible in stock. Now, this is in genuine bonded leather, and it almost feels like the old hard imitation leather. Let me just put it back here. It does come with a ribbon marker. I think it is it may be a glued binding actually. It does have decorative headbands and tailbands. Again, has a ribbon marker. But Nelson saw their best days, probably anterior to this. Let me just see something here. It's not going to open. And I haven't broken this Bible. I've done a video on how to break in a Bible and all this. It does have their really good like family presentation pages. It's multiple pages and it's thicker paper. You have to watch that. Sometimes that's a spine stressor. It'll really stress a spine. Sometimes it's used for spine stabilization. But let's just take a look inside and see some of the features of this. See how good, because you can pick these up, like this is in perfect mint on eBay. You can usually get them $10 to $20 range. Sometimes you can get them as low as $8. You always want to look at the seller rating. You always want to look at, make sure you're not paying too much for shipping, those kind of things. So, Reader's Guide to the Holy Bible, 1972. Now, that's not when this was printed, because this box is not a 1972 box. But I'll show you this. Nelson, for many years, would use this in the front of their Bibles. And I did want to say, I can't help but mention how bad this genuine bonded leather is. Bonded leather is pieces of leather pieced together. Done some videos on that over the course of time. And it's not art gilt edging. It's not gold over the salmon red. It's just gold. It's gilt edging. But really good study helps. I mean, you get this Bible, and these were probably retailing for $14.97 to $17.97 on a very regular basis at this time. It probably really retailed for $29.99. I wonder if it's on here. And it's still got a lifetime guarantee too. No, I don't see a price on there. This is the 1485 series. Excuse me. So that the Bible, the book for all time, important passages of the Bible. So that's a really good section Nelson would put in there. Now I've read it in times past, or at least a lot of it. I don't know if I ever read it from like stem to stern, but I think there was some liberal stuff in the Jesus part and the Bible part, but some really good stuff as well. But this old study helps from 1972. But again, this Bible, I think, would be printed, if I had to guess, 90s, early 2000-ish. We're going to see if we can find a copyright tape in here. What about mind benders? Questions about God and man. What about the environment? What about the nation? How to enjoy the good life? What about mind benders? I'm assuming that's talking about drugs. All right. What the Bible teaches about God. So like under God, it would be like the creation story, the creation of man, a vision of God's holiness, how God answered Job, God without equal, Isaiah 40, Psalm of amazement, sin and redemption, the heavenly city, living in God's family, adopted, baptized into his death, sign of identification, teaching and baptizing, the command to baptize, the practice of communion. And then it even has like a really nice life and Bible time section. So this almost, like a mini study Bible. When we go to measure it, you'll be really impressed with the measurements, and it's fairly readable. It's not large print by any stretch of the imagination, but if you've got decent eyesight, you can read this. Excuse me. I've been wrestling with a little cough for a couple of weeks now. So I've actually got my Airborne sitting right there next to me. So Life and Bible Times, and even has scriptures. All right. No. See, it just says copyright 1972. But it doesn't tell you. Now, it is good, deep, dark print. Has some busyness, which is ghosting. Like that means you can see the other page. And that's just because they probably used a very thin Bible paper. An excellent Bible paper. But again, judging by this box, I'm going to guess this is somewhere 95, 98, 2001, 2002. Maybe a Nelson rep can tell us when, the history of these red boxes. But they did come after the iconic boxes there. And a fairly full center column reference. Man, it just turns good. It just really does. We'll measure this ribbon marker. The red lettering has some unevenness. What I mean by that, you can tell like on my left side of the page is lighter than on my right side of the page, and it is not lighting. It is just, so you do have to be careful with that. Very good Bible printings will have very even printing, not just in red letter, but in other times. And some of the lesser qualities will have obviously lesser quality printings. Let's take a peek and see what size print this is. I'm almost sure it's 8 size print because I just did the antecedent to this, the one that came before this, and I think it's identical. As far as print size, let's see here. Appreciate a good viewer sending this. Yeah, it's 8-point print, which is good. I think that's the same print too, and the study helps in the front. Maybe not. I think it may be smaller. The study helps in the front. Let's see, definitely not 9. It's close to 8. Let me see what it looks like with a 7. So maybe 7.5-ish. So maybe the study helps, like the Jesus All-Time section. The center column reference is excellently done as far as the spacing in the center column reference. I don't like the letters cluttering up the page, but it's very readable. Let's just say that. So we get to the back. We can do that. I always wondered why my mom licked her fingers. Now I know why she licked her fingers. Harmony of the Gospels, really good. This is good. The history of the red letter edition, journeys of the Apostle Paul, his arrest and imprisonment. Actually has a little chronology there in the life of the Apostle Paul. I'll show you that section, and then we'll look at the concordance. Excuse me. I'll try to remember to measure this ribbon marker too. I tell you, the sun is shining off this gold, and this gold is just gorgeous. I almost want to say it's almost like this Bible has not been opened too much. Like, you know, when I got it off eBay. And sometimes you can get these off colors pretty inexpensive. If color's no object to you, which it's not for me, usually. So let's see here. There is some inconsistency in the printing here as well. Okay, and so then it has miracles, prophecies, has some more stuff in here. Yeah, 115 pages. I'll let you see this. And it's going to be quite a bit smaller, by the way. Like, they really took care with this concordance. 115 pages is no small concordance, by the way. I mean, that's a fairly substantial concordance. Now, today, you can just punch it in on your phone. You can look it up. Go to blueletterbible.com, which is my go-to place. I know a lot of you folks like Bible Hub. I hear about it. Some like eSword. The ribbon marker is exactly 2 inches. Has a little like halfway cut off on the back. And then it has the old Nelson maps, which I just wasn't a great fan of the old Nelson maps. I think maybe I just like the Abingdon maps better. I remember the first time I saw Abingdon, I called it Abingdon. You know, I'm trying to do phonetically. I didn't know Abingdon, like Abingdon, Virginia, Southwest Virginia, 2,000 feet above sea level, right there at Mount Rogers. Anybody that knows that area. So this, look at this. This is only 7.5 inches high. That is incredible. So a Bible like this, you'd really need to break it in because the spine's going to break because of the inflexibility of this leather. It's just not really good. So it's 5.2 inches. Doesn't have Florentine, and it's about 1.3 inches high, which is small. This is a small Bible, you know, like you just reach and grab it with your hand kind of thing. I don't have like the great biggest hands either, so. So I mean, when you get a Bible like this, you want to do like this. This is how you break in a Bible. I know I've done a video, get some views on that. But you just want to do just like this and break in this Bible. And just do this every few pages. And this really helps. And what that does is it conditions the spine. It breaks in the spine. And so that way pages don't fall out. Because what's going to happen in a Bible like this, you know, never put it in direct sunlight because it's leather, on and so forth. It does have some raised, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 raised bands there. Is pages will begin to fall out. And that'll just be because of other things. That's really the thing that will happen to this. So this is the Nelson Imperial King James, the classic reference Bible. What always separated this from the Zondervan is the Zondervan had book introductions. But I never cared for the Zondervan quite as much. And then Riverside World would have like a competitor to this as well that had some kind of old Cambridge text type that was just gorgeous and very readable. No telling how many, probably into the millions of these sold though. Because graduation time comes, people just come and buy stacks of these. And we do hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in Bibles alone, 2 million total store. So the Nelson Imperial. Now, and I almost want to say too, like, okay, so you put this, because I've been wrestling with this box. Okay, you put it like this, and you do like this. You put the box, okay, so you're looking at it right. It's almost like they printed it upside down, this end of the box. trying to see, how that'd look on a Bible shelf. I'm like, well, it's upside down. Everything else is right with it. The other three sides, it's just that size. So the Nelson Imperial Reference Bible, again, get these really inexpensive, really good Bibles. So God bless. Talk with you later in Jesus' name.